Hi, welcome to another Digital Making at Home from the Raspberry Pi Foundation session. My name's Mark and I'm going to be coding from my own home in sunny Lincolnshire in England. The theme we've chosen for this week is going to be Make Us Laugh, and so the project I've decided to do with you is a meme generator. We're going to be using HTML, CSS and a little bit of JavaScript to accomplish this. And it's perfect if you've done some HTML and CSS before, for instance, if you followed along in my video last week, but you want to take your skills a little bit further and introduce some JavaScript into your projects. If you want to do some physical computing, then you should definitely check out my friend Christina's video this week. She's going to be using Scratch to make some LEDs blink and some sprites dance around. And if you're in a bit of a silly mood, you can follow Mark's video tutorial where he's going to be using Scratch and your webcam to put silly glasses over your face and all kinds of filters like that. If you're sticking with me, we're going to do some HTML and CSS. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to just open up a browser, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to this website, which is rpf.io/ and then it's dm-meme-gen. And this is going to take you to this particular project on the project site. So here's what we're going to be making. Okay, so we're going to make a web page that can make memes like this. There's steps all down the left hand side, so if you get lost in the video you can pause it and come over here and have a look at some of the text that's on the page just by following these steps here. We're going to be using a tool called Repl.it for this session. So open up a new tab, and what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go to repl.it. Okay, now Repl.it is an online coding environment that supports loads of different languages, including HTML, JavaScript, Python, C, Haskell, loads of them. If you're going to want to save and share your work with other people, you're going to want to log in first. Okay, and I'm just going to log in using my Gmail account, but you can create your own account if you want. Now for me, that takes me straight to my teacher's dashboard, but for you guys, it should take you to your home page, which will look a little bit like this. We're going to start off by creating a new REPL. So up in the top right hand corner, you see this button here? I want you to click that, and then you're going to choose your language. Now Repl.it knows what my favourite languages are. You can see Python and HTML straight up there at the top. You might have to scroll down to find HTML, but we want HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And then I'm just going to give my project a name, Silly Meme Generator. You can call it whatever you like. And once you've done that, just click on that Create REPL button. Okay, that's going to take us to our actual coding environment. So we've got down the left hand side, we've got our file list and the ability to add more files and folders here. So we've got an index.html, which is displayed here. Now, nice thing about Repl is it's given me all the boilerplate I need to start writing HTML without having to remember all of this stuff. You'll notice in that head there's this link to this style sheet, okay, and that's over here, that's style CSS, which at the moment is just a blank text file. And then also you'll notice that inside the body tag here, there's this script.js. And that links to this script.js, which is also an empty file at the moment, but that's where we're going to be writing our JavaScript. Right, let's get started. So in my body, underneath the script link, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a way for the user, the person who's viewing my web page, to just upload their own file. Okay, so I want them to be able to upload any pictures that they have on their computer. So in order to do that, I'm going to use what's called the form tag. So I'm going to, in angle brackets, open the form tag here, okay? And then inside the form tag, I'm going to want a paragraph tag, and then I'm going to put in the text that I want to prompt them to open the image, to find an image. So let's go with select a picture. Good, okay. Now then, I'm now going to create an input method for them to actually upload a file. So what I do is I use this input tag, okay, and then inside that I've got to say what type of file it is I want them to upload, or what type of thing it is I want them to input. So I'm going to say type, and I'm going to say equals, and then that's going to be in quotes file. So I want them to upload a file. Once they've uploaded a file, I'm going to give that file an ID. So I'm going to say ID equals user picture. Okay, and then I'm going to close my tag there. We'll just close that there. Let's have a look and see what that does. Oh no, I'll tell you what, let's come down and let's close my paragraph tag as well. And let's close my form tag. I'm sure you're going to watch me forgetting to close lots of these tags as we go along. Okay, so there we go. I've closed my form tag. I've closed my p tags. That's fine. Why isn't that indented? Let's put that back there. That looks better. Okay then. Right, so let's run this and see what happens. All right, so I'm going to run. Oh, and I get my select a picture text, and then I get this little browse button which allows me to click. And when I click it, I can go find. Let's have a look at what I've got in my downloads. I've got a dog picture in there. Let's open that up. And all it does here is say dog.jpg. Okay, so it hasn't quite worked. I haven't uploaded a picture that I can display yet. And that's because I need to put an area in here where I can display my picture. So after my form close, I'm just going to come down a couple of lines. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new div. If you were following along last week when I was talking about divs, they're like boxes that we can put content into in HTML. So I've got this div and I'm going to give it an ID, and that's going to be mean picture. Okay. And then I'm going to close my tag there. I'm then going to, in that div, I'm going to place an image. Okay. Now, normally when we're writing HTML, we give it a source. We'd say, well, where is this image? You know, what's the file called? Which folder is it in? But we're going to leave that source blank at the moment. Okay. And then I'm going to also give the image some properties. So let's just say its height is, let's go for 500, and then we can say the width is going to be 600. And then we can close that div. Good, so we've got a place for our image to sit now. So that's where our image is going to be sitting. But you'll notice if I upload an image, still nothing there yet. So at the moment, because that image source is empty, I'm not displaying an image there. So how do we get this source to live update itself, okay, so that it is the picture that the users put in using the browse button? Well, the way we do that is by using JavaScript. So I'm going to come over to this JavaScript file here, and just on this first line up at the top, I'm going to create a new function. Okay, so in JavaScript I have to say it's a function. I'm going to call the function update image, takes no arguments, and then I'm going to have to use curly braces because it, and call it a function, not a function. Okay, because in JavaScript, inside a function, okay, everything inside these curly braces belongs to that function. Okay, so here we go. Just get that to there we go. All right, and so what we're going to put inside my function? Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to go and find where that image placeholder is. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a variable that's basically linking to this here. All right, so I'm going to create a new variable. Okay, it's going to be called var image. Okay, so I've got this thing called var image. All right, and then what I tell JavaScript to do is go to the HTML document, and then it's going to use what's called a query selector to go and find an image tag. Yeah, and then I put a semicolon at the end of my line. Okay, non-indentation there is annoying me. Okay, so there we go, and that image variable there is going to be pointing, if you like, to this placeholder down here where I'm ready to put my image. Good. Okay, now I need to actually fetch the user's image. Okay, so I need I need a variable that's going to be linked to that image that the user updates. So let's create a new variable and call it file. And this is going to be equal to, again, the document dot query selector, and then inside the query selector I'm just going to say I want whatever the input was when the type was type equals file. Okay, and close the square brackets there, Okay, and then I have to say which of the files it is. So it's going to be the 0th file, so the one that the user's just uploaded. There we go. And that should nearly be done. Good. So I've got my variable there pointing to that image tag. I've got my variable here, and that's indicating the user's file they've uploaded. And now I just need to make sure that this source here, this text that's going to be in here, gets updated when the user pushes that button. So down here, I now say image dot source. So that's that variable's source, and I'm going to say equals window dot URL dot create object URL file, and then I'm going to add in a semicolon at the end here. Okay, so the image source is going to be the image source is going to be that file. Okay, that file there. All right then. Now at the moment I can run this, and again I don't think this is going to work. So I've got my div there. You can see now that div's there, ready to hold the image. But if I select an image, it doesn't actually go anywhere. It doesn't fill in that div. So why is that? Now, if we go back to our index.html, we haven't told the web browser to go and run this function. We haven't told the web browser to run the update image function. And we can do that over where we've got our form with our input type. So I've said input type of file, id equals user picture. I'm going to add in a second little thing here. I'm going to say on change. Okay, so when that image changes, what I want you to do is I want you to run the update image function. Oh, need my open close brackets. Okay then. So when that changes, when that input changes, that's when I want the update function to be run. Let's have a look at what that does now. So again, I'm going to run my file, come over, click browse, click on the dog, and there we go. Brilliant. So I've got my image that I've put up myself into that web page. Absolutely fantastic. Well, glad all that worked. So let's try the next stage. We want to add some text over the top of this now. Okay, so we want some text over this image. All right. Well, let's create another thing inside my form. Okay. So I'm going to say, right, I want another paragraph tag, and then I'm going to write meme text. So the user can write some meme text. Now then, this time the input is not going to be a file this time. This time the input type is going to be text. Give it an ID again. ID equals, let's call it user text. There we go. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to limit them to how much they can type in. So they're not going to be writing novels on top of my dog picture. Max length equals 70. Excellent. And then we close that with another curly brace, and then we can close our paragraph. Look, I remember to do it this time. Brilliant. So when I run this now, again, I've got a select picture. I've got this browse here. Okay. But now I've got meme text as well. Now I'm sure you can figure out what's going to happen. When I start doing this, and I start typing here, nothing happens. Okay then, so what do we need to do? Well, we need a place for the text to sit again. Okay, just like we need to create a div to hold our image, we also need to create a div to hold our text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down to here, and just above where I've got my div for my just above where I've got my div for my image, I'm going to write another div. Okay, this one is going to have the ID equal to meme, and then meme text, meme underscore text. Good. Okay, and then that. All right then. So I've got I've opened my div. Okay, I'm going to close my div again. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in here, I'm going to go ampersand, so that's Shift 7 on, I'm on a US keyboard I think, but I think it's the same on UK keyboards, NBSP. Okay, and that's like a non-breaking space. All right, so it's not going to be, we're not going to see anything in there. It's just like a little bit of placeholder text for now. All right, then let's have a look and just run that really quick. Okay, so you might be able to see that there's a little bit more space has opened up there for to hold that div. Good. Okay, why isn't that indenting? Let's just cheat and do that. I'm sure I've forgotten to close something somewhere. We'll have a look in a minute. Okay then. So we've got our user can enter some text. We've got a place for the text to be placed, and I'm sure you can figure out the next stage. That's right. We're going to need a JavaScript function to actually place the text that the user writes into that div that we've just created. So I'm going to write another function, and this one, unsurprisingly, is going to be called the update text. Again, curly braces, and here we go. So let's create another variable and call it user text. And this is going to be document dot, and this time we're not going to do a query selector. This time what we're going to do is we're going to say get element by ID, and the element I want it to get is user underscore text. Okay then, and then a curly brace at the end. So that's user text. That user text variable is looking in the HTML document for this ID user text. So let's have a look at where that is. Okay, so we've got our ID user text here. Okay, our ID user text there. So that's going to be getting that text that they input into that box and calling it user text variable in the JavaScript. I now want another one, so I need to go and grab that that place where the div where we were going to place the meme text. Yeah. So var meme underscore text equals, and then another document dot get element by ID. Oh no, lowercase d, and then I'm going to call that that's meme text. Yeah. So that's going to go off and grab that meme text here. So that div is now basically stored with the meme text variable. And now let's update that meme text. So I can say update that meme text. So meme text dot, and then inner HTML equals user text dot value. Perfect. Right, let's see what that does. Okay, so I'm going to run again. I'm going to come over to here. Oh no, browse. Let's get that dog picture back in there again. And then I don't. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Right, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to really quickly pause the video and see if you can figure out what it is you need to do to get that text to actually display. So pause the video and just see if you can have a play around and if you can figure it out. All right, let's see if we can figure out why that didn't work. So when we uploaded the image, we had a function call in the HTML to say, I'll run the update image function, and we haven't done the update text function. So let's go into here and have a look. So just like here where I've got this on change equals update image, okay, on change equals update image, I've got to do something similar inside here. But instead of on change, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use on input. And that means every time the user types a key, that should then appear on the screen. So on input equals, and then my function name, which was update text, I think. Yes, update text. Good. Okay, update text. Close brackets, and I need to put that in quotes as well. So quote and quote. Right, let's have a look now. Run it. Browse for my dog image. There we go. So we've now got text being displayed here when I type it in. Okay. Doesn't quite look like your standard meme text though. Normally it's sort of quite large text. It's a distinctive color, or, white. So we need to change the styling of that text. And to do that, we're going to use our CSS. So let's come over to this style sheet here, and we know what our meme text is. It's got the ID meme text, yeah? It's got that ID there. So what we need to use is a hash to say to the CSS style sheet that this is referring to an ID. So it's meme text, and then open curly braces. Right, let's change some of the properties of that text. Okay, so I'm going to whiz through a few different properties that we could put in. All right, so let's go for background color, and then I'm going to make it transparent. Cool. Okay, so background color is transparent. Put in a semicolon at the end of every line in CSS. Let's choose a font size, and I'm going to go for 40 pixels in height, and I can choose my font family as well. So I'm going to go for, oh look, it's given me a whole list of different fonts I can use in Replit, which is nice, but I'm going to go for impact. Let's change the color. We'll go with a color of white. Let's go with, let's give it a bit of a shadow. So text shadow, let's go black shadow. Good, and we'll set the width to be 600 pixels. And position, this is the important one. Position, and let's go for from the left. So sorry, position absolute. So it's, this position absolute means that it will place it wherever I tell it to exactly. So position absolute, and I'm going to go for left. Let's go for 100 pixels, and let's go for top. This is a bit of guesswork now. Let's go for 300 pixels. Okay, and then we'll just see what that looks like. So I run it, browse, go get my doggy picture. There we go. I can start typing now. All right, okay. Our text is dead in the middle of the screen. I don't really want that. Let's change its position. So you feel free to have a go at changing any of these properties you want, really. Okay, you can change the color and the font and everything like that. I'm just gonna have a quick play around and see if I can get a slightly better position. So let's make it 400 pixels, and let's not quite go as far to the left. Run that. Browse doggy picture up, and then here we go. So I don't know, not happy with that either. 15, 20. I want it a little bit lower, really. Let's go for 500. Run and browse. There we go. Yeah, that's a bit better. And there we go. That's our meme generated. Now, do you leave it there or do you do more? Well, you could add in another meme text entry. Okay, give it different IDs and different things like that, and then create a function for it. But that would be able to give you like CSS, use CSS to put like your first line of text up at the top here maybe, and another line of text down at the bottom here. Or you could experiment with different types of images and positioning of your text. So you could do that famous Drake meme one with it's got the text on the right hand side in two different boxes. You could do whatever you like with this project, really. That is our meme generator completed. So I'm just going to take you to the project site quickly, and I'm going to show you, if you go to Home and click on Browse All Projects. All right, we've got in this any topic, we've got this jokes topic, and there's plenty of projects that you can have a play around with down here on the subject that make us laugh, and you could share one of those with us. What I'd really like you all to do is I would like you to create your meme, and then I would like you to use a snipping tool or something like that so that you can select your meme like this. Okay, and then you can save the image that you've created, and then you can send it to us and share your funny memes with us on rpf.io/home. And I'll look forward to seeing you all next week for another session of Digital Making at Home from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Bye bye everyone.